What's up, everyone? I'm Zulfi Sheikh here, joined by Cody Wiles and Kyle Ramnarine, and we are here to talk Lamelo Ball. The last time we were asked to make one of these, I did it solo, and I got dragged by the internet, so we figured a discussion might be easier with all of us. But jokes aside, there is a lot to get into, so make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the Raptors Republic YouTube channel. But fellas, without further ado, let's talk some Lamelo Ball and whether or not the Toronto Raptors should consider trading for him. Now, for context, the reason why we're talking about this is because there was a report from Yahoo Sports' Kelly Iko on November 20th that LaMelo Ball has grown increasingly frustrated with the organization and is open to a trade away from the franchise. Now, the Hornets are 4-11 to start the season, while LaMelo Ball's numbers are down across the board. It's his lowest scoring output since he was a sophomore. He's shooting a career low from downtown, even though he's taking the seventh most threes in the NBA. His field goal percentage is also a career low. His 3.7 turnovers are the second highest of his career, and he's playing the fewest minutes since he was a rookie. And oh yeah, he just got benched against the Indiana Pacers in a loss. And if you didn't actually read Kelly Iko's report, we have it here for you. It's not just LaMelo Ball. His sources say that the front office in Charlotte, a new front office, by the way, is increasingly hesitant about cementing LaMelo Ball as a long-term foundational piece. So this seems to be coming to a head from both sides. It appears not just LaMelo, also the organization. But I will just also mention LaMelo appeared to clap back at that report from Kelly Iko. He quoted it on Twitter with the clown emoji. So take all of this for a grain of salt. Things move fast in the NBA. We don't know. But Cody, I'll start with you. What do you make of LaMelo Ball as a player? You can think of this in the Raptors context or not. It's your choice. But just overall as LaMelo Ball in the NBA, what have you made of him?
Okay, sure. We'll start there. Yeah, supremely talented. And I think what I'm about to say, I think everybody would agree, really talented, just like he just takes like 5 to 10 shots a game where you're like, man, like what is going on here? It, it in the context, I got to talk in the context of the Raptors,
Yeah, go
and
for it.
let's we got to start with like what would a package look like, right? I don't know where you guys' thoughts went, but I guess the only way the Raptors would have to trade one of their 5 highest salaries, right? One of the starters. I feel like the easiest swap would be Emmanuel Quickly. I'm not sure if that's where your guys' heads went or not, but let's just say, for argument's sake, it's LaMelo for Quickly plus whatever you want to throw in on the side picks wise, right? Um, I'm going to be a bit more optimistic. I just assumed you guys were going to be negative about it. But okay, look, LaMelo, he's got the size, he's got the passing skill, and he's got the shooting. I just think it would be a lot of, we need to get the usage down and the efficiency up. Like, he led the league in usage last year at nearly 36%. Like, that's an insane number. He's been above 30% the last 4 years in usage. I think the key to harnessing what he could bring is, well, one, he'd have to commit to a different style of play, which in a Raptors system, I don't know. There's potential for it to work, but it'd be a lot of ifs. You know what I mean? Like, if LaMelo would want to commit to a different style of play, if LaMelo would want to defend a little bit, give more effort on the defensive side of the ball, and hey, with a lower usage offensively, maybe that could happen. Obviously, I would love to see him off the ball more. I think his catch and shoot numbers have been pretty good. He's been between 36 to 42% over the last 4 years. It's down this year, but all of his numbers are down this year. Obviously, the efficiency is not there for him just across the board, but I think there's potential for it to work. But again, it's a lot of ifs, what ifs. You'd have to do this, and that. So, yeah, I don't know where his value is or what, but I think there's potential. I think it could work in the Raptors if everything broke right.
Yeah, I think that's what makes LaMelo Ball a polarizing player, right? There is just so much potential you see. This is a guy that can give you nearly 10 assists a game on any given night. He obviously can score a lot as well. But like you said, the decision making, the shot diet, also availability is a big thing for LaMelo Ball. He has only played in 58% of possible games to this point. He played 51 games his first year, 75 his second as an all-star his first time, and then 36, 22, 47. And this year he's already missed 6 out of 15 games with ankle injuries. So that's something you just have to keep in mind with LaMelo Ball. And like you said, Cody, there's all these ifs. But Kyle, I'll throw it to you. Do you think this makes sense for the Toronto Raptors to consider trading for LaMelo Ball? And like Cody kind of mentioned, it would have to be, you assume, one of RJ or IQ plus one of the young guards, maybe just to make it work money wise, whether that's Ochai, Jacoby, Grady, even though the Charlotte Hornets already have their exciting young white guy in Concaniple. But it's one of those guys, right? With an RJIQ that does have some cap issues for the Raptors to get roster compliant. They'd be under the minimum amount of players at 13. But whatever, just say this trade happens and the Raptors can go after LaMelo Ball. Do you think it makes sense for the team to do it where they are right now and how good they've looked recently?
Honestly, like I'm with Cody on this one. I'm going to be overly optimistic. And they might drag us for this, but I would want him on the team. I think it could make sense, but the things that are worrying me right now are like a couple things, like we said, the health wise, his maturity, at least both on and off the court, and just like those two things are kind of what's bugging me right now. I feel like, again, if we were to make a trade, it would look like I brought up the old trade machine earlier when I was seeing what could happen if we do trade IQ, because I feel like that would make the most sense in a trade like this. We would have to cut at least $200,000 more dollars, so it would look like you said, either Grady, Jacoby. I don't even think CMB is even on the table for that, or a guy like Shed would even be on the table for that. So that's what a trade could possibly look like, or they might even ask for a pick on top of that. But with LaMelo, if he's healthy and when he's playing at his best, I don't think it's a hot take to say he's like top 15 in the league, at least top 15 in the league when he's fully healthy. Because I'm really high on LaMelo Ball. I really like LaMelo Ball when he's healthy. Okay,
damn. I thought I was going to be optimistic.
Yeah, but the only thing is, like, I feel like in a team like this, he would have to, again, like Cody said, he would have to play with the Raptors style. But I feel like Darko could handle someone like LaMelo Ball. He just has to be, again, more mature. This is the same guy, again, off the court, is doing circles on a go-kart on his rooftop penthouse, not taking how many shots a game, just few like questionable shots a game. But I feel, again, if you're on a team like the Raptors, you buy into the system. Again, a lot of what ifs. He has to buy into the system, take less shots like that, but he's playing with other great players. You got RJ, you have Scotty, you have Ingram now. LaMelo himself has a lot of gravity that he can work with, that he can use more playmaking wise. Again, takes the pressure off guys like Scotty to be a playmaker. So overall, I think it would be a good fit for the Raptors. It just, can he be healthy? Because I truly believe if he's fully healthy, LaMelo can be a superstar in this league. It just comes down to what ifs.
I like what you brought up there, Kyle, because I feel like I thought you guys were coming from a negative point of view. I thought you guys were going to be no, and I was going to break the tension, I guess, and be on the positive side. But his infrastructure in Charlotte has just been terrible. Like he's been a product of the system to some degree, to where they're allowing him to go take all these shots, and those habits have just been built in, like from GM to head coach to ownership. Like it's just been a mess in Charlotte, and the roster has degraded to such a point where it's on the come up now to some degree. But I mean, it's almost like too little too late. And yeah, if who knows what Toronto Raptors are one of the best organizations in the NBA, and obviously have much more talent on their roster than the Charlotte Hornets. So who knows what he would look like in a more structured system with better players alongside him. There's potential for it, but it's really tough to see anything. I don't think they would do it.
Yeah, that's so sorry to cut you off, Sophie. I was going to say that's something I was going to say too as well. Just he was playing on a team with absolutely no expectations. Like they just said, here's the ball, go do whatever you want. That's why he felt the need to take these one-legged shots while moving, take like how many shots a game. There was absolutely no expectations for him. So I feel like if you put him on a team that wants to make the playoffs and has a winning like mindset, it might change how he plays.
It's all about how healthy he is. The one season he was healthy, he played 75 games. He was an all-star. They won 43 games, and that was the only winning season he's had. I don't think it's just a matter of like the Hornets have been that bad necessarily. That is part of it because he's been able to lift bad players at times when he's been healthy. He just can't do it when he's playing 30 games a season. When he's playing 70 plus, when he's playing 50 plus, he helps them win games, even though he's not the most, I guess, like structured player necessarily. But overall, I think that is what's going to come down to it. And it's interesting with the Hornets, how low would they be willing to sell on LaMelo Ball given the situation and the reporting? This is a Hornets team that has an abundance of picks over the next couple of seasons, and they potentially have a core to work with, whether it's Con Knipple, Ryan Kalkbrenner, Sion James, and whoever they may draft this year. They have plenty of first-round picks. Do they want more draft picks, or are they looking for some viable veterans to add to this roster, which the Raptors, I guess you can try to say, can offer in an RJ Barrett or Emmanuel Quickly? who knows if the Hornets are interested in guys like that or not. So you have to think of it from that perspective as well. Like, do the Raptors have what the Hornets are looking for? Draft picks, sure, they can throw a couple. The Raptors have 7 firsts available to trade within the next couple of years. But again, the Hornets have tons of those. So will they even want that? I think my thing is my take overall is very similar to you guys on 2 accounts. Any team trading for LaMelo Ball has to trust that their training staff can do what the Hornets haven't been able to do to this point. And they have to be able to believe and have faith in their infrastructure that LaMelo Ball would have no choice to fit in rather than stand out. And that, like you said, Cody and Kyle, that's a lot of ifs. But if there's any organization that has proof of concept they can manage injuries, it's the Toronto Raptors. You obviously saw the Kawhi Leonard load management situation, but you just saw it with Brandon Ingram and his ankle injury. LaMelo Ball deals with ankle injuries quite often. Anything he's tried, even new ankle braces, hasn't worked. If they can do it with Ingram, I at least trust them to put LaMelo in the best situation health-wise as possible. You could even look at Jakob Poeltl, who started the season with a back injury. The Raptors managed it properly, and Jakob is looking like the player that we know he can be. So there's proof of concept there. And also, the Raptors are very good at adjusting around their top talent. There is a lot of similar questions to trading for Brandon Ingram. Was he going to fit next to Scotty Barnes? Was he going to be able to play within this Darko Rajakovic movement offense? Was he going to be healthy enough to play in it? And I know you might say this is the exception rather than the norm, but if you're a front office that's trusting the infrastructure that you've built, I think the Raptors are as set up as any to look at LaMelo Ball as a buy low opportunity and take that risk if the trade makes sense overall in terms of the machinations of it.
Yeah, ultimately for me, I think there's better fits for LaMelo in the NBA and teams that would be more willing to do that and have more of the financial flexibility to do it rather than Toronto. I think realistically, any trade that Toronto is going to make is going to be along the fringes just because of the way their money situation is. Like they can't take on any larger contract without giving up one of the main 5, right? So I
By
think
the way,
other
I'm sorry to cut you off, Cody. Just so people know, LaMelo Ball is under contract for the next 3 years after this year, owed $40, $43, and $46 million. That's roughly around a quarter of the cap, and obviously that'll change as that continues to grow.
Yeah, it's really like you said. It's just going to come down to in a new situation. We're going to find out. I think he's eventually going to be on a new team. I don't think he's going to be on the Charlotte Hornets for his whole career, whether he gets traded this year or not. But is he just like a good stats, bad team guy, or can he actually be conducive to winning? So some team's going to have to determine that. And depending on what the cost is, like, I don't even really know what his trade value would be, but it's an interesting proposition. But I think Toronto holds, especially with like the culture and everything they got going now. I think they ultimately hold, but it's an interesting proposition, I'd say.
Yeah, the Raptors are 10-5, second in the East, 9-1 over their last 10 games. Obviously, they're hooping, but like you said, Cody, things change fast in the NBA. This very much could be something the organization revisits closer to the trade deadline if things don't go necessarily how you expected from this point. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But let us know down below. What do you guys think? Should the Raptors consider trading for LaMelo Ball? Why or why not? And as always, throw out your trade ideas down below in the comments. But that'll do it for myself, Cody, and Kyle. Remember to subscribe to the Raptors Republic YouTube channel and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. We'll see you soon. Peace.